Hello there, Joel here from the band EVILE. I'm just here to do a top 10 video of my favourite albums that I've listened to ever since they were released, loved, enjoyed and about to share with you. Speaking of albums, we're releasing a new album, Hell Unleashed, on the 30th of April. We've got a video out for that now, title track, Hell Unleashed, which is on Spotify, YouTube, etc, etc. I'm sure the links will be in the description, so please share away and let's make this release huge. So without further ado, here we go to my top 10 albums of all time, starting with this one, Queen's A Night at the Opera, which I stole from my parents' collection when I was small, 5 or 6 or 7. I used to love playing the Prophet song in the dark because it was all mysterious and cool. But yeah, that was my introduction to rock music and sort of like cast the first stone in everything that I love to date. So yeah, Night at the Opera, Queen at number 1. My second choice is Iron Maiden's Live After Death. It's the nice gatefoldy, massive Eddie, phenomenal gig setup thing edition. This was the first album I actually bought with my own money. It was $5.99 and I picked it up from a record store in Wakefield in the north of England called EGS, and it was just right there through the door when you walked in on a big stand. And I'd heard 2 Minutes to Midnight, a couple of other Maiden tracks which I'd heard on late night radio, and I thought they were amazing. And I bought this and never looked back, and I bought every other Maiden album. And yeah, that was my first one by those guys though. Number 3 is Spreading the Disease by Anthrax. First thrash band I properly fell in love with, and my own personal favourite from the Big Four actually. I don't think they've ever made a bad album, Anthrax. They're just consistent and good at what they do. First track I heard off this was Madhouse. I'd seen that on a late night music show in the UK called The Power Hour. I think they were actually promoting the release of Among the Living at the time, but they didn't have any promo videos available for that. But yeah, it was Madhouse I saw, loved it, and I went out and picked this album up, and yeah, it's got all the great artwork by Charlie there, all the other bands. Mind you, thinking about it now, I probably went out and checked out Nuclear Assault and Exodus and various other bands just because of that artwork as well. So yeah, full-on introduction to thrash right there in Spreading the Disease. And it's got Gummo on it. It's awesome. Next, Slayer, Raining Blood. The ultimate thrash album. There's just no denying it. If anybody asks you what thrash is and they don't know, then just play them this and it sums it up. Just such a great album. If you're having a shit day, just put this on. You'll just feel immediately better for 27 minutes after blasting this out. And even if you're having a good day, put it on because you'll just feel even better. It's just such a good, no fucking about, straight to the point, great thrash album. Next up, we've got the self-titled album by Chicago band Trouble. Doomy, stoner, retro, classic heavy metal. It's all in there. This was the first album they did for Deaf American, working with Rick Rubin. It's such a good album. It's got End of My Days on it, Psychotic Reaction, Black Shapes of Doom. Even got the original sticker there from a 5K review in Kerrang, which is probably why I bought it, to be honest with you. It was probably my introduction to them. Yeah, fantastic album. Check it out. Trouble by Trouble. Next up, Faith No More's The Real Thing. Again, this came out. It came out and it changed the metal scene completely. Did this well before grunge. I'd been familiar with Faith No More. I'd heard the track We Care a lot, and I was spotted Hetfield had a Faith No More shirt on the Garage Days EP as well. So I they were in my subconscious, but when I picked this up, it was absolutely something else. Yeah, just a great new sounding at the time, spin on metal and rock, the real thing. Next up, speaking of new take, a new spin on an existing genre, we have King's X and Gretchen Goes to Nebraska. Saw these guys open for Anthrax in 88 or 89 in Bradford, I can't remember exactly when, but one of them support bands that just totally blow you away. Picked up this album immediately afterwards, and yeah, such a great band. They're still making music to this day. 3-piece band, same lineup since their first release in 87, 88, which is really cool. Trippy, psychedelic, bits of everything going on in there. But yeah, great album. Check it out. Following that up, I've got a CD, Extreme Pornograffitti. This was a massive release when it came out, just notably for the acoustic ballads, but you know what, I love this album, and I do not give a shit or a flying fuck if you want to mock me for liking it. I don't care. It's a great album, great musicianship on it, great songs on it. Played this thing to death when I got it, and one of the best live bands I've ever seen as well. They're just so good at what they do. So yeah, Extreme Pornograffitti. Next up, this is a band that was originally called Mindfuck, but just so they could get records in the stores, they changed their name to Mindfunk. And there's nothing funky about it at all, really. It's more of a sludgy, grungy, stoner, doom, trippy, smoke lots and lots when you listen to it kind of album. But it's amazing from start to finish. It's double vinyl edition. It was out on Megaforce Records in the early 90s, and don't just take my word for it, but this kid, just with his thumb up saying good, is all you need to know about this album. Mindfunk dropped. Excellent album. And finally, one recent one is the Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny demo, which Mr. Bungle put out last year. This was a re-recording of their original 1986 demo, but they enlisted the help of Dave Lombardo from Slayer and of course Scott Ian from Anthrax on guitar, and it's just fucking awesome. It's start to finish, it's just relentless, and it just, again, it sums up thrash metal. You can see what they were doing in 1986. I could have picked any Mr. Bungle album for this top 10. I like them all, but this one, just for the sheer ballsiness of it, has made my list. So yeah, check it out, Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny. That's a nice booklet yearbook edition, which they issued. Very, very cool. So yeah, thank you for taking the time.